This is so exciting.
Imagine getting paid to do this.
Oh my god. I don't want to do YouTube anymore. I want to weld.
It's exciting for like a year.
So is YouTube. This video is a collection of all of the things that we're doing to get this car ready for 2,000 horsepower at the crank. And it's going to start with one of the coolest. ID injectors are one of the products that I've been using the entire time I've been making quality amounts of horsepower. With the ability to profile the injectors, even on this car, I was able to run this vehicle the very first time without any fine tuning. Plug in the injector types on my Adaptronic. Those are the 1050s and the 1700s out of the 3-rotor. Let's go ahead and unbox what's inside of here, because this is brand new. So I was waiting until SEMA to buy these. It took a little bit longer, but look at this. Hey, this is not a bad way to spend, well, a lot of money. Looks like a belt feed machine gun setup. That is 8 2600cc injectors from Injector Dynamics. This whole row is going to go just like that into the secondary rail of the 4-rotor. All 8 are the secondary injectors for the 4-rotor. Running the car in E85 with just these alone is capable of more than 2,000 horsepower. You combine all 8 of these with all 8 of the primary rail, which are going to be 1050s, we've got enough fuel to make the party fun. Let's see what these look like. This is 2600. The business end down there, nobody wants to mess with that. For those of you wondering, this is a 60 millimeter long injector because of this hat, and it's got two 14 millimeter in diameter O-rings. If you pop this off, pop that off, and that is the actual injector. It looks very similar to the 1050s, 1700s, 1300s, all of the other ones that I have on the Corvette in the background, the 3-rotor, and so on. And for those of you looking to upgrade, 8 of these is about $2,500 to $2,700 online right now. And if you thought those were it, they are not. I just got this in. It took a little bit longer because, as you can tell, customs got involved. Canadian friends sent me, Nissan, the R32 Ateza pump, nitrogen system, all of that, all of its little pieces right here. That is the major missing piece to finishing the all-wheel drive system. This is a hydraulic system capable of kicking out about 250 psi, controlled by the ECU, put into the back of the all-wheel drive unit, and turns it on and off, essentially. Really, it's just a clutch. It's just a wet clutch. Maybe it's like a relay where it's powered and then you tell it what to do. I'm going to tear this apart, clean it up, make sure all the O-rings are good, but this is the missing piece for the 4-rotor. For those of you wondering what this connects to, it's this piece right here. Under there is an inlet, and you inject hydraulic fluid into there, and that's what clamps in this back area here. That's what clamps the hydraulic clutch all together, and that's what shoots power to the front. Really, it doesn't shoot power. All it does is just connects to the front, kind of like slipping a clutch. Think of it like your clutch pedal, except in reverse. The pedal, when you push it in, causes things to disconnect. The clutch over here, when you push that in, causes things to connect. When you say 50-50 torque, what you really mean is everything is all connected together. Most important to this system is that this needs to send the correct amount of pressure to that clutch. All of this is used to control it, and then the smarts are in here. This is in one way where SEMA Young Guns actually connected me with the people that made this possible. If you saw my video at SEMA, you saw the purple FRS BRZ with the RB swap. Those guys are the ones that sent this my way. They went above and beyond and made everything possible for me to reconnect with the stock connectors. They sent me all of these just in case. Like that was really, really too kind of them. So if you check them out, it's Throttle Thrashers over in Canada. She's naked. If you thought that having a 106 millimeter front part of the turbo is huge, look at how big the turbo actually is. 106 mil, so slightly over 4 inches from here to the other side. But then it's insanely like 140 mil, 160 mil. It's just massive massive compressor. Isaiah is cutting off the compressor housing to make a tighter bend, tighter elbow, so that way it's not hanging all the way over into the tire space. That also allows us to stay away from the fender mounting tube that will be mounted out here, keeping everything kind of tighter and in line. And then we'll put our vibrant clamp on in the front. And that's what you're seeing here, a tighter aluminum bend, also in 3.5 inch versus 4, so that way we can get that done tighter and then expand back up to 4. Really, I mean, you look at the inside of this piece, the inside of that is still only less than 4 inches in diameter. It expands to that with that empty space right in there. You know, we're being over the top. We're being extra. This is super exciting. I've got a lot of equipment in from Rogue Fab that'll help us fabricate the rest of the chassis in a much cleaner way. I had to wait until Isaiah showed up because I don't unbox things by myself. It doesn't feel right. It's a beautiful day here in Los Angeles. This is so much like Michigan. I feel home. Isaiah wanted to crack these open, and I wanted to make sure that you see what these are. This is something made by TIG Aesthetics. They are silicone. Now, the only thing I've ever handled their silicone normally does come in pairs, except they're a little bit more rounded and they're a little bit larger. And they're normally measured in cc's. These are measured in inches. These are way more useful, and if anything, can make you money instead of costing you money. These are plugs meant to block off your tubes. He's got 3 different sets. And he used smaller ones for wastegates and whatnot. These bigger ones are clearly meant for, well, exhaust, or in my case, intake as well.
This is more for exhaust sizes, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4 inch. It's more of an exhaust size. So this is more for headers, I believe, because he has different sets.
Turbo manifold kit.
Then that's that one. Then these have the diffuser screens in them now. Yep. No, but I bought his first set, and these already feel much more. I don't want to say much more better, because that's not. They already feel higher quality. There you go.
There we go.
Yes.
And what do those screens do?
These diffuse the air, so instead of going, they go.
Yep. Okay. Well, it's tight. It's a tight fit, Isaiah.
You just kind of slide that in there. Astroglide, or you can use with your own bare eyes. You can see the diffuser, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Versus just peer straight through.
Oh yeah. Actually, that shows up decently on camera too. Nice clean seal. Just curious, show me what it looks like on the inside. Nice. Well, Brad, your product certainly lives up to the TIG Aesthetics name, because that looks pretty cool. It's definitely aesthetically pleasing. Time for Isaiah to put them to the test. While Isaiah's working on the intercooler piping, I'm working on the ECU itself. And one of the coolest parts about this is that I've got this kit from Adaptronic to make all of this mess disappear. All of these wires go away. So simplified, cleaned up, and I get the dash working as well. So I have both the drive-by-wire and the Adaptronics internal wideband module. So they actually look pretty similar, but one of them is drive-by-wire, and the other one, I think it says it on there, it says Lambda, Adaptronic Lambda. We should have room for those, as well as all of the extra injectors that we're gonna need. We'll be running 16 injectors. We're gonna need all of the above. This is Adaptronic's premium unit, it's M6000, and so it should have all of the ability we need. And there we are. Those are quite a few modules to install. I'm going to set this on something that is not conductive or staticky. So I'm going to need another large module for all of the injectors. Lambda. So little Lambda, where are you getting installed at? Just holding it in places that I'm not subjecting it to static. I can see there's the white corner on those. So we can put this one either here. Yeah, we'll put them in the corners. So we'll put that one right there. And then I might as well install the drive-by-wire one while we're at it. I'm not going to work with drive-by-wire just yet. It's just throwing me too many things all at once. But definitely going to have it installed on the ECU. That leaves us with 2 large modules and 2 small modules. I'm going to need another small module for all of the wheel speed sensors. That's another thing. That way we can control the all-wheel drive system. And then a large one for the ignition and injection. So that leaves us with a little bit left. It's crazy that this runs the whole car. Just this, really, it's the piece that was right here, these two. That's what runs your vehicle. Ultimately, we have to run these wires into my existing wiring harness. This connects to that. That connects to the downpipe instead of all the other mess. The only downside to that setup, there's only one small downside to that, is that this messy setup does have a gauge. I'm gonna have everything connected to the ECU at all times, every time I run this car. So this isn't as necessary as it used to be. Put that back in like that. What's Isaiah doing? Oh, it fell? Was that an attack?
No.
Oh. It's upside down. It's a good sign. ECU hardware modules. And it does see the lambda. And in here, as we go further, with the extra modules, like the big module, with the extra injectors, I'm gonna need to get more of these. Because I just don't have any plugs in those. These are the names that we're looking for, and then those are the colors of the wires that those correspond to. There it is, reference cell, cal resistor, heater, pump cell. One of my favorite things to do is take pictures. It's gonna be this one here with all the greens and blues, because those are all the injectors, ignition. There. So now, we should be able to just push that all the way in. And then once we push those two back down, it locks in. 6 was black, 7 is green. Pin 7 should be this very last one, right? Just in case you have to diagnose it and everything, all of the wires are on this outside edge. All of them are separate. So we lock this back down. That simple bit of work now replaces basically all of this mess over here. So we can take this power line off, and then all of this can go back on the 3-rotor. Right here is the back side of the dash. This is power and ground. Plugs in, oh yeah, to this right here. One thing that we're very much connecting to the dash, other than just the CAN bus, is actually the CAN module for all of the EGTs. What are we about to test, Isaiah?
So in theory, this should fit perfectly.
Oh, hey.
I think real life than it is in pictures.
Yeah.
So you know what it looks like?
The other 3.
Yeah.
This is the 1.3, and that's their new 1.45. Those are the AR, and we have the smallest baby one that would be sitting here. That one's on. Oh yeah, look, you can see on the nub right here. Are we allowed to cut off the tips on an EGT? Because those seem long. I guess maybe they're not because the adapter. For some reason that seems like a bad idea, which is why I asked.
Because then you could adjust.
Oh yeah, like it compresses onto the end of the EGT. Oh, it does. Okay.
You'll just be compressing. We are demonstrating perfectly purged tacks when you're doing titanium, because then you have oxygen on the backside when you're trying to fully weld.
You have to tick your tacks.
Yeah, tic tac toe.
Oh, you went up me. They look good on the outside, and
They look even better on the inside.
yeah, the camera can barely tell that they're there. Look at this. Wow. Yeah, that's considerable difference. Yeah, you don't need us anymore.
Yes. And now I can just literally go. And it
Oh,
stays
that's perfect. Well, there you go, guys. This is what you've all been asking for.
there. V2.
V2. Now, I want to point out the car is at max everything. Just so you guys
Yeah.
see this, even if we go back to the normal way, you can see that the car is straight up bottomed out. Let's show them the arm. And so even at maximum bottom, it's still got space from the arm. Alright, so we'll plug this in to here. Go ahead and hit ignition. And there we go. Water temp, air temp, oil temp. I have this page, which reminiscent of the good old Power FC days for me. All the sensors. Did I hear you just throw up? Not everybody in this room shares my love for the history of the world. Amber's about to die, but it's going to capture me doing titanium for the 4th time. Oh, oops, sorry. Even on an angle too.
It's not focusing. Okay, there it goes. There it goes.
Yes. That one was gonna be the toughest one for me yet. This is so exciting.
Imagine getting paid to do this.
Oh my god. I don't want to do YouTube anymore. I want to weld.
It's exciting for like a year.
So does YouTube. Isaiah just had me tack in some of the titanium welds, and it's the first time ever touching titanium or tubing for that matter, and it went really well, so it was super exciting. I've got the dash set up for the new dash. It's all kind of hidden back there for the moment. This unit, just like it says, vehicle dynamic module, so this is going to sit somewhere in the car like that. It's supposed to experience all the G-force, yaw, well, you can see it. It's got all the accelerometer, gyroscope, all those sort of things to tell you exactly what's going on. You can plug GPS into that. Just gonna fire it up, no settings whatsoever, and see what happens. So it should power, yep, okay, power's on. It's not getting the signals from the ECU, so none of these are gonna tell me anything, because that has to be told that, hey, there's an ECU on the CAN bus. I'm gonna actually copy the file I made on that one to this one. I'm gonna allow it to be downloadable. As I say, I'm making beautiful titanium noises. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect this. Let's see if it works. Oh, that's a good sign. And there we go, it's connected to the ECU. Is there, point out we're doing something extremely illegal. No, not emissions on this. We were collecting rainwater.
Yeah, don't get us started on this class.
Isaiah's gonna cut the header right after the collector, so that way this is basically a modular system because there's just chassis in the way. There's a small 1-inch diameter tube that is in the way. We've made the executive decision collectively to cut that tube out. Not permanently, don't worry. Oh, that's holding up pretty well. You're making fun of me now, huh? Oh, yes. That was so worth it.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of oil. Wow, I've never said that phrase before. Going really slow down. Very slowly. Okay, keep moving. A little bit more. And stop there. Oh, yeah, I want to touch the tip. Okay. So take a look at this. See, there's a slight bit right there. We might take it down. We might silicone it. Depends on the mood. Oh, that's loud. While I'm over here looking beautiful as is, making the manifold.
Are you trying to say I'm not looking beautiful?
Okay, hold on. That's a K-type EGT. All four are equidistant. Fancy word.
Equidistant.
Equidistant.
Dude, I love hanging out with the
We're going to measure the exhaust gas temp on each of the rotors. That's going to require each of these 4 sensors. That's a kit that's available from a...
These drill bits are so nice.
Kind of hone these out a little bit.
Oh yeah, so I didn't have the time or the energy.
Something Isaiah just showed me is that he's only drilling the size of the sensor, the thermocouple, because you don't need to get crazy and have it be the whole size of the 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch MPT. You only need it for the centerpiece, so that's going to reduce turbidity. We took a little temperature sensor probe as soon as he got done welding, and I put it right on there because he's welding temperature sensor probes, and it was 678 degrees as quick as I could get it there and let it heat up, the element heat up. But yeah, that's the highest number we've been able to register so far.